I believe we are going to warm up now. Pasta?
Yeah, we are.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I certainly hope we are, or else a couple of people
Yeah.
are very, very uninterested in playing this match so far. But
Yeah,
yeah, we should
what are
have.
your thoughts on the lower bracket final?
I think it's definitely going to be the tightest match we've seen so far. I would put adsad down as my favorite to go through. But I don't expect them to do it in dominant fashion by any means. I could see them getting through with like someone else on finalist, or kind of in the 90s at least. I reckon it'll be tight.
Yeah, I think judging from his performance in seeding, I really didn't have him that high on my card, but he's absolutely showed up to this one. He's driving some very consistent pace and some fast times at that. Yeah, I genuinely hope that he can show us what he's got. Same with Twiddies, same with Crisp, same with Jake.
Yeah, I think the biggest question mark player, just based off the last match, has to be Twiddies. They performed so well in the start of the match and went so poorly in the second half of it. It could go either way. That said, this is probably the best map that Twiddies had. We are going to be starting off on Pistol. I'm not saying that. I can't pronounce it.
I think all the Welsh casters just given up on this point. You can say whatever you want.
Yeah. The dock map. That I can pronounce. It's kind of lucky that has ended up being rolled as map 1 again. So, slightly in Twiddy's favour there, but it's going to have to make sure to capitalise on it early on, as Twiddy's definitely looked shaky on, I think the Wizzy map at the end of the last match. That was where they looked weakest, so yeah, but enough speculation. We are live with round 1. We see a very different line coming out there from Crisp, going up the wall quite high and dropping a couple of attempts behind. Not sure that has really worked out, as they will be falling further behind. So we got a pack of 3 at the front.
Yeah, it seems like a line he's consistent with, and it seems to be working because he's gotten this far. We can see a little tight race here between adsad and Twiddies. 2 players who do have pace here. We can see adsad has taken an early lead, with the pack actually really close behind him. It's gonna be, it's gonna be all in the tech section at the end now. They're all gonna try and go for it. Twiddies getting a little bit better, but going a bit wide. Now it's adsad versus Jake. They're really trying to push, but it looks like adsad does have enough speed to close this one out.
Yeah, that adsad, I think, made a mistake on the part of the track, which is the absolute best bit, because you then have Bugslide, and the speed's kind of equalised after that quite heavily, so got away with a mistake and still end up with a 50.0, which isn't a bad time. Twiddies almost does a carbon copy of the crash that we saw on the second rotation of this track last time. Just kind of overcooking it, getting a little too much speed, not being able to make it through the triangle, and Jake does what he does best and came second again. So
there's actually trash talking adsad in the match.
It's brave to trash talk someone who just beat you after crashing, but I'll say as Jake goes into the wall, so drops down to 4th. Crisp, a bit more relevant this time around, battling with adsad for 2nd and 3rd, but Twiddies takes the lead. Yeah, I think this will be a good match in terms of, I think on all maps we're going to have 4 players.
Yeah, no,
with a chance of doing well and winning rounds. So.
Yeah, it's not likely that it's going to go down to crashes again, because all the players obviously have a break.
Crisp does that.
Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah, but it doesn't really matter because Jake is so far behind.
Where is Jake?
It's in Narnia by the looks of things. He does finish, so he does get the 3 points. But the gap will widen. I think adsad keeps his lead, but Twiddies jumps a position.
Yeah, I think these points are going to stay pretty tight for now. But Jake has lost a considerable number of points there. Probably shouldn't have lost that many, to be honest. Given the mistake that Crisp proceeded to make. Should have at least been able to get 3rd, but wasn't to be. This time around, it is once again Twiddies in the lead. Jake 2nd, adsad 3rd. Separated by about 2 tenths of a second at this point, but we've seen mistakes from Twiddies and from Jake. And from adsad, actually, coming to think of it, so This could go any direction for the time being, but Twiddies to lose right now.
Yeah, we're going back into what looks to be the death
Oh!
section as Twiddies does crash into a tree, leaving Jake and adsad to fight for that first position. It's always a close one with the tech section, but if Jake just saves it, I think he makes it. Yeah, adsad too far to catch up, and that is a 49.6. Good time for the field.
Yep, I mean, 3 rounds in, 3 different winners so far. That I think is a good sign of a match that we're going to have here, as Jake will jump up into second place, only a few points behind adsad in first now, so this is going to be so up and down the entire time.
Yeah, I think the points show that as well. It's still close with the fourth round coming in.
That was a weird error, and that is a full respawn. We'll actually have to be careful to try and finish here, to be honest. You don't want to get 0, because those 3 points for just dragging the car home in last, they're still 3 points, so he'll need to be careful.
Yeah, I think the sleep buff has kind of gone away now. I think he needs to take another nap if he makes it the grand final, because then maybe he's got he can get that consistency back.
Quite possibly, you know, it's no longer Twiddies the snacker, it's now Twiddies the napper. I think it might be more accurate, as we have adsad versus Jake at the front this time. Crisp unable to really match pace as adsad goes into the wall, and that is not only going to gift second place to Crisp, but absolutely gift round win to Jake.
I think Crisp also crashed as well. Where's the rest of the field? There they are. 54.
Crisp went safe. Well, I don't think intentionally went safe.
I think this now swings Jake into first. Yeah, Jake is in first. I think
this is not a drill.
This is not a drill. I think it's shown on that map that everyone has some good pace on it. Maybe not consistency when the pressure gets high. It might be a different story for Go Wild though.
Yes, I mean, if they were struggling with consistency on the pistol, then this is going to be very tricky for them indeed. You know, Twiddies performed well here last match. I think Jake looked particularly shaky on this one, it's got to be said, so it's going to be difficult to try and extend that lead at all. adsad, I'm really not sure. We're going to have to see.
Yeah, I think it's important to note that Twiddies' PB here is a 57.5, which is an insane time. I think it's top 7 world. So he knows this track. It's just the level of consistency, as shown throughout the rounds he's played, it might not be there. So it all depends on, does he prioritize that consistency to get to the finish, or if he really tries to push for that pace.
I would be willing to bet a rather significant quantity of money that Twiddies will not be prioritizing consistency. As a player, I don't think they're capable of it, to be perfectly honest. So, but we'll see. I would love to be wrong, but I'm not sure I will be. Anyway, it is adsad and Twiddies with the strongest start here. Crisp jumping a little too far to the right early on is going to lose a few tenths from that. But now Twiddies showing that pace, driving away into first. Gets his turnaround well, as Crisp actually finds himself up into second.
And the field hasn't crashed. It's very close.
No mistakes
going into
so
the
far.
flip. I think everyone makes it. Everyone makes it. Crisp maybe with a little slowdown, but everyone is still in contention.
Oh,
Jake with a little clip. No, everyone is clipped.
Everyone.
Jake,
oh wow.
Twiddies is the only one left up on the field. He's got so much time. 2.5 seconds, and Twiddies was also clipped, but I think if he just goes safe, he should be able to make it fine.
Yeah, no point doing anything risky there.
Yeah, I think that's the first time I've ever done the caster curse. I have made it.
I thought you'd managed to survive the hardest one because you had no one has crashed as you went onto the ice flip where there's always at least one mistake. And it's like, the caster curse didn't come into effect on the ice flip. What? And then the next corner you lost 3 out of 4. So, you know, it's clearly still being trained, you know? We're exercising the caster curse here.
We barely see any crashes there, and the fact that all 3 crashed there is just a sign of how much nerves these players are feeling. Obviously, it might not be the highest of stakes, but it's still an incredibly close match because everyone is battling for bragging rights.
And when you have Jake in your lobby, bragging rights could never mean more.
Especially if your name is adsad.
Oh yeah. And adsad currently not in a good position relative to Jake on this round. Twiddies makes a mistake, elevating Jake into first place, who is actually going to get a very nice flip over. So adsad will be having to limit the damage to Jake ahead, as Twiddies is once again crashing out from first place. Bit of a common theme, it's got to be said.
Yeah, I said again, close race. adsad and Jake. This might be the storyline of the match. You can see it's only 0.2. Jake goes safe.
Oh, that save might have cost him.
Yeah, no, I think he's crashed as well. Yeah, he
messes up. He crashed
adsad taking first with a 59.4. That is a good time. I did see a couple 58 points in the upper bracket, but still, to pull off that pace in such a high stakes environment is really impressive from adsad.
Yeah, that was a really costly mistake from Jake. You went from leading around, drove for safe route, and still crashed down fourth. I don't quite know how he managed that.
I think he went for the reactor jump
as well,
and crashed with that.
Yeah, we have seen that from him before.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because Jake has now gone down to second place and in danger of third because Twiddies is only 4 points behind him.
Yeah, especially after this start to the round, Jake down into third place. Twiddies makes another mistake though, so is gonna at least extend that gap, as it is Crisp actually up at the front. Someone I don't think we've spoken about much this match, as they are about 10 points behind the rest of the pack. Could well be, well, getting 10 points to try and close that gap a little bit. Crisp certainly on the best round I think we've seen.
He's wobbly there,
so
but
far.
he does survive it.
Yeah, I did. I'm glad I wasn't the one driving that line. I'd be a bit nervous if I was in my car.
It looks like he's recovered though. I think he's got enough speed. Oh, he goes safe just in case. But he does make the jump. Oh no, he doesn't. Big slowdown and flips the checkpoint. That's gonna be costly. He could have done so well on that round.
Yeah, the gap, that 4-point gap between first and second carries so much weight compared to any other positions. So, yeah, very costly for Crispr, who really needs every point they can get. Still does close the gap a little bit to the cars in front, but it's 12 points to safety right now for Crisp. So,
yeah, it is showing that all the players are around the same level of skill when it comes to rounds. Everyone really close together. Crisp also doing really well. He's in second now as they enter the quarter pipe. Crisp actually gets a lot of speed. He's going to overtake Twiddies and get a nicer jump in the ice slide to see if he can stick the landing. I think both of them go really far. Twiddies does get more speed in the exit though, as he goes for the jump that everyone has crashed on. He's crashed again. Oh, it's devastation for Twiddies. This was
hero
his map.
Hero to zero for the 100th time here on Go Wild. There seems to be a bit of a running theme, as Crisp this time, once again in first place, is going to go for that safe route. Is it going to pay off this time?
No.
No. Well,
But
I mean, still going to get second.
Is he?
No,
he's
not.
turtles. Oh no, and this is he going to finish?
Crisp.
Yeah, he's going to finish.
Should have been first, maybe second, and instead turns into fourth, and that is so costly in terms of the overall match. The gap to safety still hanging around 13 points. Should have been close there, but not to be, as we head off of Go Wild and onto Ieupad.
Ieupad is a pretty neutral map from what I've seen. All the players seem to have practiced this quite a lot, but it's gonna be close. I think it's gonna mostly favor Jake. I know he does kind of like this map, at least if he gets the gear on the plastic. If he doesn't get the gear, then I think he won't be happy.
Yeah, that gear can be very costly, so make sure that you are listening closely to the cards as we go over that section.
Yeah, I think adsad has definitely shown that he's the kind of player he's gonna make it through to the grand finals to face the X competition. Maybe not the best crash for there, but I'm sure it'll sort it out by rounds. And we can also see a very close fight between Jake and Twiddies there. Only 3 points in between them. I don't know who's gonna win this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think adsad obviously favourite to win, but Jake and Twiddies, that came down to double last chance last match. Might well come down to double last chance again with a few more stakes this time.
Yeah, as we go off to the start of the round. There's a nice inside line from adsad and Twiddies. They're going to get more speed and a nicer entry. Let's see if anyone loses the gear. This is the deadly section. It does look like everyone's kept it. It's going to be a close race. And maybe not as close, because, yeah, untimely clip from Crispr there leaves him to be around a second behind the rest of the field. adsad does have a lead. Twiddies with a nice drift, but does bonk. I think I might stop talking at this point.
It's not going well for you, I've got to be honest.
No.
You do see another mistake there. adsad leading his rival Jake currently. 1 and 2, the pair of them. Jake would dearly love his points, but it's not going to happen as adsad picks up another round win. I feel like adsad has managed to be there or thereabouts on every single round. I didn't quite realize how much the gap had grown, but, you know, after that, the gap is now 20 points between adsad and Jake. adsad could go nap for 2 rounds and still be in first place, which is
yeah, and the fact that he's got impressive. A 53.2, that's a good time.
Yeah.
I think if things keep on going like this, adsad is going to make it comfortably into the upper brackets.
Yeah, so it's going to be a fight to the death between the bottom 3, but I think most likely Jake and Twiddies for that second spot in the grand final.
Yeah, I'm not going to count out Twiddies. We've seen how well he can drive on all these maps. It's just, I think the pressure just needs to not get in his head, and he can drive really well.
Yeah, I mean, I also think it's just a bit of a coin toss if he gets away with risky lines that he goes for.
Oh no.
Then great, but the coin landed on tails that time for him. No luck at all, and it is going to be rival Jake hunting down the 10 points, but isn't going to get it. As he doesn't get across the finish line!
Oh, Jake.
He bounces off the finish, and adsad snipes him by a matter of pixels. As Jake's car is just helplessly screeching past the finish line, unable to drive over it. It was actually a round win there for Crispr, who brings Crispr within 10 points of that fight for second, so still very much in there.
I started to count him out, but he got the 10-pointer when he needed it most. And with a decent time as well. It wasn't a fluke, because a lot of people had slow rounds.
I definitely think that Doc's map did not favour Crispr at all.
No.
But since then, I think he's playing at a pretty decent level.
Yeah, we can see, again, the field is quite close together. Maybe Jake slightly behind the rest of the pack, but he can definitely catch it up. There's plenty of more of the track to drive. Again, very close fight from Crispr and adsad. adsad does clip, unfortunately, but Twiddies gets a nicer line. Crispr does slide out a little bit in the dirt, so now it's a fight for first place between Twiddies and Jake. Jake tries to go for the inside line, might actually snipe Twiddies. Very close, within a 10th. But Twiddies does have that edge on Jake with a faster PB and more experience. Has Twiddies played a lot of comps?
I mean, he did actually play Cwpan last year at the LAN, really by a bit of a fluke, kind of ended up coming in as a last-minute replacement. But technically does have some more experience. I'm really not sure between them, to be honest.
And yeah, I think from that we can say that he's played a lot of them. He's just not very well practiced all of them. It's quite unfortunate.
Yeah.
You can see Jake here coming to second. He's gonna try and widen the gap from Twiddies and Crispr.
Yeah, the gap currently stands at only 2 points in front of Twiddies, 12 in front of Crispr. But oh, and with adsad going into the wall, that means a huge number of points have suddenly become available.
It's a very close round at the front as well.
Scrapping at the bottom. Yeah, and Crispr versus Jake. Who's going to cross the line? It is Jake by the matter 500th that ends up being decided by. Really unfortunate for Crispr there. Honestly, it feels like there's so many 10 points that have just gone walkies for him, where he could well be sat in third or maybe even second had he got him. But that does really extend Jake's safety net. 8 points in front of Twiddies now. 16, I believe, in front of Crispr. And actually, the person he's also getting close to is adsad. That gap has come down from 20 points to only 12 now, so...
Yeah, I feel like the nerves is starting to show in adsad's gameplay. He was absolutely dominating the lobby at the start, but maybe it's the map, maybe it's just the environment, but he's kind of been trailing behind. He's been getting a couple of last place recently. And maybe this will carry on and let Jake, Twiddies, or Crisp catch up to him.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the more dangerous situations I think you can be in for the mental, is when you've had a really good start, there's nothing worse than seeing like your good work in the early phase start to slowly get chipped away at. Because you suddenly stop going from having this mentality of like, right, I'm gonna win this and I'm gonna play at my best, to like, I just need to get this across the line. Like, come on, don't let that lead vanish. And if he kind of falls to having the mental act like that, then it could potentially be a little dangerous. That said, still 20 points safe from Twiddies.
Yeah,
and Twiddies is not one I would refer to as threatening the mental game. Because Twiddies has no idea what they're going to do most of the time. So you certainly can't try and predict or work around it.
I think it might also be that adsad going into this was kind of an underdog, but in this round he's shown that he's a very quick player. Maybe that shift in mentality has kind of thrown him off his game.
Yeah, there's nothing better than going into the match as the underdog, because you go in and you're like, well, who cares if I come last? I got nothing to lose. Might as well try. See what happens. It can often actually help you play better in my experience, but pressure debatably on adsad, but I'd say he's not cracking this time.
No, he's keeping up to that first place.
Yeah, Twiddies, neck and neck. Crisp with all the speed though. Crisp out of nowhere.
Yeah, a little
but
bit.
He's gonna have an unfortunate entrance there. So yeah, drops down to third place. adsad does hold on to second, and Jake wins the round by almost an entire second. I think Jake looked so good on Clandau last time that I wouldn't be surprised that this is the kind of joker for Jake.
Yeah,
and if Jake can try and get onto finalist here, that would be massive. Of course, adsad with a chance of finalist this very round, 90 points for him. And a round win would get him within touching distance of the grand final.
Yeah, we can see here, it's maybe adsad, he just needs to win the round and then he'll get into finalist. But that is a very hard task with the level of competition that he's got racing behind him. He has got a little bit of a lead here, really trying to risk that NASCAR section, but he is 0.3 ahead. Let's see how well he gets the bug slide. A little bit wide, maybe some others have caught up to him. But you see Crisp has crashed out, so he's out of the race.
Yeah, I think adsad got away with it a bit because Jake had a bit of a clip. Twiddies with a clip as well, and that is going to allow adsad to get on finalist at the first time of asking. It's going to have a good few rounds alone on finalists as well there, with Jake only picking up 4 points in that round. adsad will get a minimum of 2 opportunities without any threat to try and wrap this up.
Yeah, have we seen Jake, Twiddies, or Crisp drive a 55.8?
I have absolutely no idea.
I think we have seen a couple rounds, but it's a strong time, and he's driven that twice now. So we'll see if he can keep up this pace, because if he can, I'm pretty sure he will make it through. A little bit behind here in the start. It is a bit of a coin flip. Crisp does have a little bit of a crash there. Twiddies also clips, and that leaves adsad versus Jake to be the deciding factor whether adsad goes through this round. They're very close together. Only less than 0.1. Jake gets about equal of a bug slide with adsad. It's so close.
Yeah, this super tight heading into this final section. Through the third, I think adsad behind, clip. But has a better line clip from Jake, and adsad will be your first player from the lower bracket making it into the grand final. He may have been denied a chance to go there with the directorate in a triple finalist alongside Taukai and The name slipped me. That's
Ieupad.
embarrassing. Ieupad. There you go. Alongside Taokai and Ieupad. But we'll get there on the second time of asking. Takes a long way round. But you have 3 of the 4 grand finalists confirmed and 3 players left to scrap for that last spot. Jake,
I feel like now that adsad is gone, Jake can finally concentrate on actually driving the map. We'll see if that kind of mental roadblock is going to help him drive. Maybe not, with a little bit of a wider line there. He has dropped into 3rd. But this ice slide might be the deciding factor for a lot of people. Twiddies having to release. Crisp getting it very well. He's got so much speed coming to the NASCAR. Jake does crash. That means Crisp is an entire second ahead of Twiddies. And it looks like he might be trying to claw his way back, trying to whittle down the lead that Twiddies has. Maybe even Jake if he feels like it. Coming to the final section here. Quite nice lines as he tries to... He's going very safe here. And it might cost him because Twiddies might be able to snipe him. Yeah. Insane play by Twiddies getting that 10 points. That's really going to help him catch up to Jake.
Yeah, great push there at the end from Twiddies, and Twiddies really, really needed those points. Jake, not on finalists yet, but will be next round. That said, Twiddies can get himself within a few points of finalists as we head back onto a map where Jake's looked shaky and a map where I think Twiddies has looked exceptionally good. We're heading back onto Pistol, onto the map I've featured in Cup a Day, built by the wonderful Doc. We have this one rather inconsequential round for Jake coming up, because even coming last, he'll still get on finalist. But Jake's job will be just trying to deny points from Twiddies, because Twiddies has to win this round to be able to get in finalist the round after.
Yeah, it's very important here. We've seen Twiddies with some insane pace in this map, but he's also been very crashy. So it all depends if he decides to turn off, I guess, in classic Twiddies fashion. If he decides to clip the tree, then that might be his chances gone. Because we know he's not really the most consistent player. But I think it could go either way. I don't have my I don't have Jake going to the final book just yet.
Yeah, I think this is going to come almost entirely down to how Twiddies performs. If Twiddies crashes, not this round, well, actually, if Twiddies crashes at all, it gives Jake such a great opportunity. But
yeah,
if Twiddies keeps it clean for 2-3 rounds, then Twiddies could well be an unlikely finalist, having not woken up for the first match.
We did see in the lower bracket, actually, Jake did win over Twiddies. So maybe we'll see a repeat here. Twiddies is ahead by quite a large margin. So it looks like he's in quite a nice position to get 10 points. But he might be playing with UI off, might not know this. Bit of a weird line there. Might hit the tree. No, he goes very high. Gets a lot of speed on that exit. And now it's all about just trying to make it through this tight tech section. And it looks like he has. That'll be 10 points. And a good chance of getting the finalist the round after.
Yeah, so Jake is going to have one opportunity here.
Oof.
2 opportunities, realistically. He has to win either this round or the next one. And Twiddies needs to win both unless we see Crisp get involved and cause an absolute upset. That said, Crisp hasn't looked great on this track, so I think we are now into a very, very high-stakes 1v1 of Twiddies versus JakeCotton. JakeCotton just needs a single round win in the next 2. Will he get it?
I think, judging by the start here, he's still in contention, but Twiddies is kind of running away with it. He's got that pace now. He's built back.
Oh, but he clips!
I clips! Oh no, I'm sorry, Twiddies. I should have said anything.
You're not meant to cast a curse for the important rounds. Well, there you have it. But Crisp, who hasn't... Did Twiddies just crash again? Did he catch up?
Oh, Jake crashed!
Crisp wins!
Crisp wins! He denies. That brings Jake into another round. Twiddies going into finalist.
Crisp wins a 1v1 that he wasn't invited to.
Pastor, we need to stop talking.
Yeah, I
Oh
have
my
no idea
goodness.
what I just witnessed. Both of them will be so annoyed they didn't win that round, to be honest, based off the mistakes of the other.
Yeah, Crisp always has this kind of slow start. He's always going to be about 2 to 3 tenths of a second behind. But it doesn't matter if both of the field he's competing against just crashes.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. I mean, having Crisp still in this match is important because, it means if they both crash, you just go again. You can't get away just crashing less than the other person.
doesn't look like
Twiddies
it's going
makes
to be
it
like that this
further
round.
than... Yeah, Twiddies makes it further than we did last round. It's going wide. Is
It's all
going
going
to
to come down
make
to
it.
the risk in the tech section.
Twiddies carrying so much speed. But not too much as they do make it through the triangle. And your
Oof, he
fourth
makes it.
grand finalist is going to be Twiddies. Having only woken up a few minutes before the lower bracket, missing the first one, scrapes through second in lower bracket round 1, second in lower bracket round 2, and is going to be
Oh, I don't think Jake
your
knows.
last grand finalist. I don't think Jake realised that
Oh,
we were
no.
going to play, so Jake could end up with...
Crisp
bit of a
just needs to
rough-
win the round to get the finalist.
Oh no.
Oh
Not
no.
like this, Jake. Not like this. You can't come sixth.
Oh no. This
would
might be devastation for Jake. Crisp knows he's so far ahead because Jake doesn't realize. 3 seconds ahead, that's a massive lead. I think even if Crisp does crash, or maybe even has a clip, he just makes it through. He gets the 10 points anyway. And it will go down. We know the next map. Go wild. Jake has to try and prevent 6th place by playing Go Wild. This is going to be intense.
Also requires Crisp to not crash and go wild. This is going to be a very entertaining final round. This is for fun rather than anything else, and the minor pride of can Crisp say that they beat Jake? Or can Jake at least try and hold on to a little bit of dignity? It's going to be tight.
I don't know if he's got much of that left after that.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Jake to have lost to Twiddies Ferris, particularly it was the penultimate round where I think it was lost for Jake. Just getting into a final 10 seconds of track and goes into the wall. It's so unfortunate.
Yeah, it's been a really good showing from Crispr. If he manages to get 5th in Division 2, I think it'll be a very good performance. He should be very proud of the way he's played, especially as, to my knowledge, not playing any comps before. He's dealt with the nerves very well, and just making it this far has been a brilliant achievement for him.
Yeah, one of a few new names that we've got taking part in this event, so it's always brilliant seeing new names come in, even better when, they can put in a better performance than people would expect of them. So, yeah, great to see from Crisp.
Yeah, I believe Jake does have the better PB, so he does have the pace advantage. I don't know how much Crisp has actually practiced, so we'll see if this kind of high intensity situation is gonna affect him for the better or for the worse, as we do go into the final match of the lower bracket finals. Crisp versus Jake. Starts and Go Wild. Crisp has a good start.
Jake does
and
not.
Jake crashed.
Jake has crashed. It'll be a few seconds behind. That's going to compound with
no.
another clip going on, and that is almost certainly GG. It's this final round decided. It's going to turn into a bit more of a victory lap for Crisp.
Well,
I think this has kind of just highlighted the power of the mental in this game.
and Go Wild.
And Go Wild, yeah.
I mean,
is going to
RPG
pick
map
up.
in the comp, it's definitely entertaining to watch, but unfortunately it does produce moments like these, where unfortunately Jake is 7 seconds behind Crisp. There's almost no chance, even though Crisp maybe has a bit of a wobbly line there. He just has to go safe, and he will take it comfortably. There we are.
Yeah, there you have it. 5th place goes to Crisp, Jake into 6th. And there we go. Half the field has been decided now in this Division 2. And half of them will be going on to the grand final to go and battle it out. We have Yug, we have Taukai, we have Adsad, and we have Twiddies.
I think that's going to be a very good final.
I think it'll be exceptional. I mean, in the upper bracket final, we saw 3 of these players last time.
Yep.
Um,
And Twiddies has
you
shown
know,
up. He's shown.
Yeah, the only one who kind of dropped down was Crispr, who didn't make it back into the upper bracket final per se. But being replaced by Twiddies, again, such a coin toss player.
Yeah,
in the last match, in the first one he played, I was kind of sat there like, how did he lose so many points as to only scrape through in second? And now I'm asking, how did he get enough points to scrape through in second? It's a complete role reversal. Somehow the second half of the match he played significantly better. If you could tie together that first and second half in the 2 matches he's played, he could well be a threat. He could well challenge for, the win, if I dare say it. But
yeah,
I think the other people left are not going to be as susceptible to mistakes as the likes of Crispr or Jake or the other people who Twiddies faced against. I think adsad, Taukai, they're gonna have that consistency. Yug as well, so it'll be tough, Twiddies. But I almost don't want to try and make predictions here. I just want to see a great match, and I think we're gonna get one.
Yeah, I feel like the level of competition here will definitely give more consequences to players who crash. It'll be a lot more consistent, so I don't know if that'll go Twitty's way. But he has shown from the final few matches, he has it in him. He can definitely do a miracle run from sleep to first. It could definitely...
that would be a story. From not waking up for the match to winning the entire competition. I mean, Mono got close, but didn't quite manage that back in BIPC in 2023 prospects. But it would be quite hilarious if that is what happens. But all 4 of these players are so good, and I can't wait to see the match.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be one to watch. Good pace from all of them. They've all been practicing. I'm sure they're all excited as well. And it's going to be close. I'm looking forward to see it.
Indeed. Right. We are going to be going to a quick break now to, check that everything is ready to go, and we will be returning at 2:45 for the grand finals of the first version of Cymru Div 2. I can't wait to catch you all then, as I'm sure it will be a brilliant match. Thank you, Ieupad. That didn't go well. Thank you so much, Ieupad, for joining.
No,
no, I went for Ieupad, and I've forgotten how to talk. I have forgotten how to talk. That is absolutely brilliant. Thank you, Ieupad, so much for joining me on this cast. It's been brilliant to have you and your insights. It will be me and KJ taking you through the final, and we will be back in about 10 to 15 minutes.